Hi guys, this is part 2 of the Enterotube video series on how to read an Enterotube. So previously, I inoculated a tube with our friendly demo organism, Serratia marcescens, and today I now want to go through the results of that tube and how we score the Enterotube. So my Enterotube here is nice and grown, and what I need to do is go through each of the compartments one by one and score them and think about whether or not each test is positive or negative. And online you will see that I have provided you a little worksheet here, and this is what you should use to go through and keep track of your results, and this is what you should turn in with your report when you score your assigned organism. So mine is Serratia marcescens. Yours, of course, is unknown at this point, but you can put the unknown number as to what it is you are testing, and I'm going to also add the date here as well. Okay, so we are going to go through each compartment. I happen to know them by memory, but you can consult the Enterotube interpretation guide, which will walk you through each test and what to look for. So the first test over here on my left here is the glucose fermentation test. Yellow means that we are positive for acid, and we have to look very closely for gas, but there is a bubble in between the wax and the agar, and so we are also positive for gas. And on the Google Doc, you'll see that I have circled any bubbles just to point them out to you guys so that you can see if they're there. What I encourage doing is going through and circling any tests that are positive. So we have identified glucose as positive and gas is positive. So I'm going to circle both of those. If you did not have both or either of those, do not circle them and go on to the next test. The next test here is lysine followed by ornithine. I know that these are decarboxylase tests, and purple is positive. So both of these are purple. Both lysine and ornithine are actually positive. Moving on, here is the hydrogen sulfide and indole test. For H2S, of course, I look for black. I do not see black, so I am not going to circle that test. For indole, I need to add Kovacs, and I'll do that at the end. Moving on to adonitol, lactose, arabinose, and sorbitol. These three are cherry red. These are negative for fermentation. The last one, sorbitol, kind of orangey, but I got to ask myself, is it more red or yellow? I'm going to go with yellow, but it is a little ambiguous, and that happens sometimes. So I'm going to circle sorbitol, but put a little question mark because it wasn't a clear-cut yellow, but I'll keep that in mind. Moving on to the VP test. The VP test, you only use if the manual tells you to do the VP test, which majority of the time it won't. So for ours, what we're doing, we're just going to ignore this guy. Moving on to dulcitol / PA. Here we're looking if it turned yellow, that would be dulcitol, or if it turned brown, would be phenylalanine. Mine is neither, so I am negative. Urea test, that is pink, so that is a positive urea test, right? And the citrate test is a very pretty blue, so that is a positive citrate test. Let me go grab, because I forgot, the Kovacs reagent so that I can do the indole test to finish up with my analysis, okay? So you'll see online, of course, that I've done this for you, but what I've done is I had to open up the film. I usually just use a hot loop because it's very easy to cut through the film that way, but however you do it, you need to, whoop, wow, smoking, open up the film so that then I can add the Kovacs reagent. And recall with the indole test, right, we are looking for a red color here. Let me come back. Boop, boop, boop. There it is. I'm going to add now my Kovacs, to my indole test. I'll give it like a minute or so just to see if I get any development of red color. So far, nothing at all. And and it looks like no red color, so not a positive indole test. Okay? All right, so that would be a negative indole test. I was just giving it a little extra time there. Nope, no red color, negative. I'm not going to circle that because it's not positive. Okay, so after you've gone through and marked down on your sheet which tests are positive, and again, if you look at the interpretation guide online, it will also walk you through what's positive and what's negative. What you then are going to do, whatever's positive, you are going to add up the numbers. Okay, so like this first group here consists of the acid and gas from glucose. Mine were both positive. So what do I have here? A 2 and a 1. They're both positive. I'm going to add those, and that gives me a 3, right? My next round of tests here, I have lysine and ornithine. That's a 4 plus a 2. So let's see if I can add this late in the day, 6, right? And my next, oh, this is a good example here. My next spot, nothing's positive. That's okay, that's a 0. And then my next spot here is a 2, but I had a question mark, so I'm going to write 2, but a little question mark, because I'm not sure if it is negative, then it would be a 0. So I'm just going to write both because I want to keep that in the back of my mind for that one test that was a little ambiguous. And then my last set is a 2 plus a 1, which is a 3. So my code looks like it is 36023. That is the 5-digit code. And then what I would do, you go to the code book, which is also posted online, and I look up the code, and it's going to give me a likely genus and species, or possibly multiple, or might come back and say, does not align with anything. I don't have the code book in front of me, so I will go and look that up. You can look it up too if you want to see how close our Enterotube was. But when you get your code, you look it up, and then you can report that. So again, in your report, right, you'll talk about what the Enterotube looks like, how you scored the different compartments. Use this sheet in your report to show me, hey, I went through, I thought about the test, I generated a code. You can write down here what came back from your code book in terms of what is the possible ID, and then eventually it will be revealed what your unknown was. Okay, so hopefully that was informative, and hopefully now you can get going on the Enterotubes and have a good day. Bye-bye.